Mount Everest. It remains the ultimate goal for adventurers. 12 amateur athletes vie for the unprecedented opportunity of climbing this great mountain. Raging rivers, blistering sands, and an around-the-clock 36-hour endurance race are all that stand between those that go on and the one who goes home.
We're not the fastest. I'm definitely not the fastest one here.
We've all kind of decided amongst ourselves who we think is probably going to go to Costa Rica.
I'd eliminate you.
But will the endurance race push Darren past his physical limits? Or will Trent hit her breaking point?
Riding by myself in the back quite a bit, and probably a little too much time to think.
And I've even had to stop myself thinking, gosh, are they talking about me right now?
I'll be able to make that decision as to who I think should stay and who I think should go.
It began in Moab, rock, river, and sand. Next, the Rocky Mountains' bitter cold and altitude. Today, the Kalahari's scorching sun. Still to come, Costa Rica's heat and humidity, and Iceland's Arctic winter. All these extremes, ultimately to have the opportunity to climb Mount Everest. At the southern tip of the African continent lies South Africa and the Kalahari Desert. Its diversity is matched only by its extremes. After the first 4 events, Team Shackleton is in the lead, which means they have earned an advantage going into the final event, a 36-hour race where the athletes are pushed to the extreme. The teams mull over the course maps as they strategize and plot their intended routes.
Then we got a long paddle, and then we got a trekking in the gorge, and then we got like bike trek.
Magellan takes extra care as navigational blunders have cost them 2 races. Throughout the expedition, Team Shackleton has demonstrated strength and leadership, keeping them in first place overall. Sweltering heat and lack of preparation has kept Team Columbus from overtaking the leaders.
Sandals because he didn't think the run was very long.
My right foot started burning pretty bad.
While last place Team Magellan appears to be facing the decision of who will go home.
We had it in the bag. Our hope of winning has gone from 100% to 0%.
Just kind of adds a little bit of stress knowing that at the bitter end, if you do come in last, you have to eliminate somebody.
If our team loses, it's either Colleen or I who will go, so.
I think Trent feels that she's probably not going to go to Costa Rica.
You know, it'd be probably emotionally hard having your teammates vote you off.
The Toyota 4Runner has been part of the team, getting the expedition to the farthest reaches of the Kalahari. And it will provide safety and logistics in the final 36-hour endurance race. One final challenge took place to determine team standings.
Team Magellan is currently in last place overall. They now have a huge opportunity to shine in the river race since team member Andy Cora is a 2-time national kayaking champion. Owner of his own sporting goods store, Andy is in his element in whitewater.
Fact is, in the past 25 years, I've never had a major injury from the sports I'm doing.
Look at that, baby.
He is also a dad-to-be.
Big baby coming. We're only worried that it might be tall, skinny, and have a big nose.
I know Magellan has 2 very experienced boaters on their team. Shackleton has pretty much 2 as well. I mean, Darren's a whitewater Knowles instructor, and Sam has a lot of kayak experience. And I think among the 4 of us, we might amount to 1 average boater.
3, 2, 1, go!
The race begins with a 2-kilometer flat water sprint. The pressure is on, as time penalties will be determined for the 36-hour race. Next, the teams scout the lower rapids and report their intended line to expert judge Andrew Kellett, a top South African kayaker.
Be careful, come over river left.
Yeah. Okay, just watch out for that rock in the middle. Have you seen it? You picked it up? The big wrap rock in the middle?
Yeah.
You need to stay left to right of that, okay? Right, see ya.
Let's go, Sam. Let's go. Okay, we're taking that left line.
Okay.
The center there. Try to hit the tongue there. Tongue here. Try to hit it there. Got to avoid that fan rock.
Yeah.
You hit the tongue to the left, around the corner to the left, inside left.
Watch the middle rock. Do you pick it up?
Down there, yeah?
Yeah, okay.
We're entering here to the left, obviously. Through there, and we're going to try to take the inside left on this side. There's a big rock in the middle.
Global Extreme's Mount Everest, Forerunners of Adventure, presented by the all-new Forerunner, larger, more powerful, more capable. And brought to you in part by Columbia Sportswear Company. And by the United States Marine Corps, the change is forever. And by Camelback, get cool water anytime with Camelback hydration systems. Camelback, keep moving.
Still bunched together, the teams launched their rubber crock boats at the top of the rapids.
It's hard to keep up when there's, semi-pro kayakers in the field and they're not on your team.
Columbus's inexperience immediately slows them down. Team Magellan's superior whitewater expertise is evident. The crock boats are difficult to maneuver. Even experienced paddlers such as Sam get themselves stuck. Jesse, Rickert, and Trent make the most of Shackleton's predicament and swiftly pass Sam and Troy. Shackleton's Eric and Darren lose their line and get hung up. While Honda and Ted show little signs of control and pinball off the rocks. Even with all his whitewater experience, Andy still takes a spill, bringing Colleen with him. Magellan and Shackleton's other boaters remain a mere boat length apart. Meanwhile, Columbus's Hansa is blissfully unaware that his co-pilot Ted has completely upended.
Slid off to the side of the back of the boat, and my harness actually flipped into a carabiner on one of the safety ropes.
The same rapid causes Columbus more problems as Petite loses her paddle. Once through the rapids, they head for a canyon wall. The teams scramble up a rock face and leap 45 feet into the water below. Shackleton's Eric Capitula takes his responsibility to his team very seriously.
I've been in enough situations where people's lives depend on my performance, and I would never, ever want to put somebody in jeopardy of them losing their lives and paying the ultimate sacrifice because I couldn't perform.
You're slippery. You got it, Jesse. All right, here we go. Kayabunga!
Wow, that was fun. It was high. My legs kind of got taken out from under me, but I landed all right. I'm good. Reminds me of where I grew up, Three Rivers, jumping off the rocks in the summertime.
Things happen, whether it's injuries or sickness or team dynamics that don't work, and at some point it's worked down to who's going to work out the best. Who do you trust? Who do you trust?
I'm really fortunate to have a wife that is just so supportive, but she really believes in what I'm doing and understands it, and she knows it's been a lifelong dream of mine to climb Mount Everest.
I remember telling my family, gosh, I just hope he never wants to climb Mount Everest, because it scared me, but now that I know a little bit more about it, I can handle it a little better.
After their jump from the wall, they climb back up and rappel down to their waiting crock boats. Team Magellan makes the most of their narrow lead and takes off down the river first. Columbus follows suit with a rapid descent and wastes no time leaping into their boats. Surprisingly, Shackleton's progress on the wall is slow going, and their paces entrench them in last place.
So how far downriver are we paddling?
Basically, a guy ran it this morning in a hard shell kayak, paddling as fast as he could. Clean river run was an hour and 20.
At At the finish line, Magellan prevails and wins their first race in Africa.
Magellan on the comeback.
I was paddling my heart out in the flat water. I was paddling so hard.
Come on, guys! The race for second is close as Columbus comes in just before Shackleton.
135.
Despite the race results, Magellan remains in third overall. The upcoming 36-hour endurance race will determine if they have to lose one of their team members. Columbus enters the final event in second place, and Shackleton remains the leader in the Kalahari.
The final 36-hour expedition covers over 120 grueling miles. The overnight course will have the global extremists battling water, rock, sand, and a scorching sun, putting all of their skills to the test. To start, the teams select their 2 best swimmers who will cross the Orange River to the first checkpoint.
First 5 minutes and 36 hours.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
We got 2 good swimmers out there.
While their teammates make their way across the river, the remaining members prep their bikes for the first ride.
Nice job, man. Put it in your zipper. Good job, you guys.
The first mountain bike leg takes the global extremists through the maze of vineyards that line the banks of the Orange River. Magellan and Shackleton immediately make a wrong turn.
Up by that water tank?
Yeah, maybe where those houses are. Okay.
We got everybody. Sam.
Team Columbus makes a straight line to the checkpoint and transition to croc boats. They now face a 15-mile flat water sprint.
It went really good.
Shackleton was in front of us and they turned around saying they didn't think this was the right spot. Magellan got lost in the grapevines somewhere. Now as a group of 12, or better yet, a group of 4, you really get to know what someone's all about. Someone who may have shown up to Africa here thinking they were at the bottom of the ladder may now have a better chance.
We started doubting ourselves, so we turned around and we shouldn't have.
Magellan is just moments behind.
1 hour into a 40-hour race. I'm not going to sweat it quite yet.
I think you can't freak out at this point.
Checkpoint 3, baby.
Along the way, teams are required to punch a passport, which indicates they have successfully completed each section of the course.
Boy, we got a little lost on the bike there, but we're making it up in the boat now.
Magellan's paddling skills prove strong as they overtake Columbus and reach the next transition in first place. This section requires the teams to portage their croc boats.
I got a big, strong Marine on my team. He gets to carry all the heavy stuff.
I did not insist. Believe me, I'm carrying this boat by myself. I think that by the time it's all over, I'll have the information that I need, that if we are the last place team, I'll be able to make that decision as to who I think should stay and who I think should go.
This portage is a little bit of a pitzer.
We started at the back, so we made up a little time in the paddling section here, but it's hard in these boats to make up much time because they only go so fast.
The teams navigate their way to checkpoint 5, overlooking spectacular Agrabis Falls.
Trying to find checkpoint 5. The river went well. Now we're at the big falls.
Any lead is momentary as the teams remain in striking distance of one another.
Oh, wow! Yeah, cool!
At this point, it is still anybody's race. The sheer rock walls and rivers of the Kalahari still await the athletes, as do the unknown dangers of the night. The temperature has risen to 125 degrees, and the barren rocks of the Kalahari offer no respite from the heat. Magellan still maintains their position in front.
River's here.
This is where things start to get interesting, the first true navigation point in the race. If a team goes down the wrong gorge to CP7, they could lose over an hour and fall off the back of the pack.
We're pretty confident that we can, we can finish second or first.
Can you do it on the go?
Yeah, just pulling out the compass.
Columbus and Shackleton arrive atop Moon Rock at the same time, but choose to proceed in different directions. While scrambling through the boulders, Eric and Team Shackleton move in front, passing Team Magellan.
It's getting warm. But we're not lost, that's a good thing.
These rocks are hot.
Wish my legs were a little longer. I'll trade Andy any day.
Columbus is not far behind.
A steep descent and then a steep ascent out. Some cool water in between. It looks like we're the third group here, so be a little backup, unfortunately.
Team Magellan left CP6 in the lead, but now they're bottlenecked behind Team Shackleton on the ropes. Because of their handicap, they have to be 30 minutes ahead to win this event. Once they get off the ropes, they're going to have to be spot on in their navigation and move even faster to the finish line.
Shackleton makes quick work of the Jumar and rappel, but Darren begins to suffer from the intense heat. Before he left for Africa, Darren had a surprise for his girlfriend.
I proposed to Stacy. I'm asking you to marry me. But the timing's kind of hard, so it's going to be hard being gone for this long.
The Aranjacombe Gorge is a spectacular part of the endurance expedition. Team Shackleton has already passed through. Team Magellan is now on the rock.
I'm trying to pace myself. So far I've been going pretty easy, and so far so good. I am like the far scope of safety. Just, I think coming from my background in fire and stuff, it's just pounded into your head and it's a way of life for me. So I'm like, by the rules, safety first. Once I got into the fire service, it was more the EMS side that I enjoyed. The fire service right now, at least in Southern California, is 75% medical, and I really like that part of it.
Well, we're only 7 hours into this. Scenery's beautiful, we're feeling good. I ain't gonna be saying the same thing at hour 30, I guarantee you.
I'm really enjoying my peanut butter, banana, and honey sandwich. If I could have any sandwich in the world right now, ice cream sandwich.
Troy and I just basically have to keep up. We figured that we were probably going to come out even or tied off the water, but then we would make up our time on the land, and that's exactly what we're doing right now, so we just got to keep the pressure on.
Sam takes a moment to cool off.
Columbus is going to reel us in if we can't keep a little faster pace, but
every team here has won an event. I think people need to look at the big picture. I mean, that's why we're here, to build teams, to see how a team will do on Everest, not just who's the strongest people in a sprint.
As temperatures reach the hottest part of the day, Magellan navigates their way safely back to the river.
I'm not a big wild water pack swimmer.
Right on their heels is Columbus.
Trail points that way, huh? What's this time on the road?
There is some definite difficulties with how you hydrate. I feel like I was hydrating a lot, but it's just always thirsty. The water, it's hot, then, it doesn't taste good. And you're just craving all the time for cold or
10 is in a little side canyon after that.
Ted is definitely our navigator. We'd ask Ted where we're going. Hansa would be there looking at the map, and he would back him up. Petite was definitely our spark plug. She kept the pace high. I was a little bit worried about myself, you know, trying to push the pace too fast.
The tactic now is to stay on course and just keep a steady rhythm. Quick transitions.
Columbus finds a narrow section of the river and makes their way across.
I tried to do what I could to help out, you know, my teammates any way I could. Fill up their water when we got to water stations. Checkpoint 10. We're halfway done.
I think it definitely brings out how people work together or don't work together, and trust or lack of trust. That is what will come into play in the long run.
By late afternoon, Shackleton reaches the next transition. A 2.5-mile tubing section gives them a chance to cool off.
Well, tube navigation is one of the most difficult kinds of navigation there is out there, really. And most of the difficulty lies in the fact that you're facing the wrong way.
At the next transition, Shackleton trades their tubes for mountain bikes.
Tubing's a big redneck activity in southern Texas where I grew up, but usually they have another tube full of beers, and we were missing the beer tube.
I can't complain. I like it that we're out front. And that everybody's feeling good.
Sam trains hard at home to maintain her passion for adventure.
I have lots of neat friends who are so supportive, and every time I come back from a trip or back from a race, they, you know, want the full details and want to hear how it's going, and it makes it so much more fun for me. It's really neat to get to share it with people.
I definitely gravitate toward people who are risk takers and who aren't doing, you know, the status quo, and because they have a passion about living, which is completely addictive and so much fun to be around.
The teams don't seem too apprehensive about the next section, but if they've looked at their maps closely, after this nighttime biking, they are never going to want to put their seat on a bike again.
14 hours into the expedition, the sun begins to set, and Trent begins to feel the strain. She slips back and struggles to maintain pace with her teammates.
My energy was starting to just go down, and definitely starting to feel like I was bonking, but I wasn't really realizing it. I just thought that I was miserable. And finally, I couldn't keep up with my team, my 3 teammates at that point, and I started kind of majorly feeling sorry for myself. I got to the top and just kind of had a little meltdown, and finally looked at me. She goes, "You need some food."
I need that food. I don't have much left in my pockets.
You got a lot of crap in your pockets. I think we need to take like a 3-minute break and get some food in Trent and get some food in everybody.
Yeah.
I've been riding by myself in the back quite a bit, and probably a little too much time to think about how much this ride is sucking for me.
Sorry, you guys. Hey, don't apologize, okay? We're out here for 36 hours. It can happen to anybody. Let me get your bike.
Yeah, no apologizing.
You know what? Why don't we just stick that in your pack? Oh, you're using it?
Energized by food and rest, Magellan cycles off into the night for the final 37 miles of their traverse. Columbus is still in third, but doggedly remains just minutes behind Magellan.
We were trailing in third by minutes, 2 minutes here, 4 minutes there. You know, so we were trying to do our best to get through it, not in third.
I did think I saw Columbus back there, so that's a little startling. So we gotta keep moving and pressing on so we don't get eaten up, you know.
The endurance expedition has been underway for 17 hours. First place Shackleton is suffering a staggering blow.
And then Darren got sick. And as soon as he got sick, that's when the race began for us.
Give up. Sounds good.
It's been throwing up a lot. And obviously that's not good out here in the desert. So he just needs a few minutes.
He was on the side of the road throwing up. Nothing was going well, and he just wanted to push on and keep going. And he continued to try to move ahead, and that impressed me.
Expert judge Kathy Sasson gets word that Darren may be seriously ill.
Kathy to Hanu, coming Hanu.
Kathy, we'll take the ambulance with us.
Copy that. So you and the ambulance are en route to find Team Shackleton just before CP14. Copy?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thanks, Hanu.
Team Magellan is now out in front as they reach the climbing site at midnight.
We were pushing each other at times beyond what we thought we could do as a group, I guess, and did it.
I did together because we can't be 100 yards apart anyway, Colleen.
You know, when we were leading the race, we certainly know we had pressure from behind from both the other teams. They were always close behind. For that reason, we didn't take a lot of breaks, a lot of times where we sat down for any length of time.
I think Columbus just came in. Someone just came in behind us.
18 hours into the race, and Columbus remains just minutes behind Magellan.
We were plugging along, knowing from past races that if we just keep our wits about us and stay aware of what's going on, that suddenly we're ahead again, or something might happen with the other team, that it's not over until it's actually over.
I think Darren kind of ran out of juice or something. We passed them and he was just kind of either sleeping or, you know, the whole team was just like laying down there.
Will Darren be able to complete the race? Or is Team Shackleton finished in Africa? Global Extremes Mount Everest, Forerunners of Adventure, presented by the all-new Forerunner, larger, more powerful, more capable, and brought to you in part by Rolling Rock, and by Giro, Impact is everything, and by Yahoo Sports, the official internet partner of Global Extremes. Log on to sports.yahoo.com/Global Extremes for detailed information.
Right now, we've been going for 20 hours. So maybe halfway, maybe a little further.
Team Magellan completes the wall and is ready for the next leg of the expedition.
Ka-ching. One more.
We're just gonna keep riding until it gets light and just keep having fun, you know?
With dawn approaching, Columbus's spirits remain high.
Different at night.
It is.
Wow. It's kind of scary, actually.
Columbus is playing to win and wastes no time transitioning back onto mountain bikes.
You want to have their strobe on the back?
Yeah. Hansa. Good luck, you guys.
Hey.
I did feel during the race that I was holding my team back, and I felt bad about it. That's part of what got to me that night. I was thinking, God, I can't keep up. We're gonna lose because I'm slow. I don't have it in me to carry this thing very far.
The thing about being first is that people get to follow your footprints, and then the teams behind you get a little bit of an advantage sometimes. So, you know, for example, going through those reeds, they're not gonna have to scout ahead in those.
In the past, Team Magellan's navigation errors have been detrimental to their performance in the Kalahari.
Well, we've just come around a pretty significant curve, right?
Mm-hmm. You know, it's a glow stick. I don't see how the heck we could have passed it.
Once again, navigation is Magellan's downfall, allowing Columbus to move into the lead.
If you pass the rock, look to your left. It's down low on a little rock.
Wait, it's on the left?
No.
It's on the left if you're going back.
You guys barely missed it.
All right. Well, we gotta go back and get it.
It's red and it's
Come on.
We just couldn't find the checkpoint. We checked our topo maps. We knew right where we were. We knew it should be there. And we spent 45 minutes looking for it, and we could not find it. And I just think we weren't thinking right.
Shackleton finally arrives at the climb site, and Darren is still suffering.
You're totally welcome to get any medical you want, and it's not like you're penalized or anything like that. So if you want to get an IV or, you know, you decide that for yourself.
Ooh, that burns. I've got a rash from tubing. Sure. Ow, that hurts. Wow.
Sort of slowing us down here, but he's getting an IV now, so he should be feeling better. Hopefully we can start laying it on and catch the teams in front of us.
Darren's teammates head through the rope course, anticipating his recovery.
Well, it's an unfortunate night. I mean, it's really hard to see your teammate be so sick.
Dawn breaks over the Kalahari, promising a new day of intense heat.
We were hoping for a comeback, but we weren't counting on it. And then all of a sudden, everything just sort of fell into place. But we can lose it just as quickly. At this point, we just want to get it done. I'm so sleepy. I'm waiting for Hansa to ask for another nap break.
If somebody else needs it, I'll use it.
Feeling a little better. Now it's time to go climb the ropes.
The IV has proven effective, and Darren finds new strength to continue on.
Darren started feeling healthy again.
Okay, let's go.
And I thought that, okay, you know, now we're in third place now. And I know that we're in third place by quite a bit because it really slowed us down with Darren being sick. So if we're gonna win this race, we need to get going and get going quickly. We don't know what's going on ahead of us. So all we can do is press and continue to race. Attack. That's it, just attack.
I'm hoping that Costa Rica has watermelon in the fridge. If I find a watermelon, I'm not sharing. Maybe with you, Sam. That's it. Ice cream.
Here we are, off to checkpoint 17. So 17's closer to 20 than 1 was.
Leaving their bikes at the transition, Columbus trudges forward to the next checkpoint.
And you know, we're not necessarily the team that stands out or talks out all the time, and we're like this silent weapon that just plods along.
We've got the toe strap going now. It's basically just a bungee cord. Hook it to my pack, hook it to Trent. You know, it just gives the slightest little bit of pull, but it makes a difference, and I can set a faster pace. It makes it a lot easier for her to keep up.
I definitely don't feel like we have even a second place in the bag. We still feel like Shackleton's back there somewhere. I'm tired. I'm looking forward to it being over. I'm looking forward to that dip in the river.
Columbus has made it to checkpoint 17, the penalty box. Team standings before this final event determined that Columbus must wait for 15 minutes.
Whatever you got on you, can use it.
I can be in there.
Okay. Just behind them is Magellan, who faces a 30-minute stay. Both teams anxiously wonder whether Shackleton will suddenly appear. With no penalty, Shackleton could quickly regain their lead.
Get an IV in 36 hours.
Well, I'll tell you what. If I'd get an IV, you're way more of a man than I am. I'd be crying.
Whatever.
I'd be crying for Mom.
Columbus's penalty expires, leaving Magellan behind.
Go! Here we go, Columbus. Come on, get bad. Check your tires real quick.
I think when we arrived at the 30-minute penalty box, that was kind of a stressful moment for us. I don't think it was so much Columbus. It was more the stress of getting there, waiting in the heat, and then kind of not being sure where Shackleton was. Shackleton was our big concern.
I'm sorry to be negative, Sam. That's just what I was thinking about ever since we started puking last night.
2, 1, go.
With Shackleton nowhere in sight, Magellan escapes their penalty period unscathed. They mount their bikes and cycle off in an attempt to catch Columbus.
I was supposed to say 4x4 or something. Oh, something fell.
Looking a lot better than last night, Darren.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, we're feeling better too.
Cool. That's great.
Columbus is the first to reach the Tyrolean Traverse.
All that soft sand on my bicycle. It was great.
They zip across a narrow canyon high above a dry riverbed.
That's the way it's supposed to work.
Petit gets stuck midway and has to climb hand over hand to the other side. Magellan remains minutes off the pace.
I thought that Jesse took too many shortcuts and bent the rules a bit, and I've actually come to appreciate his judgment a lot more.
Despite their valiant efforts, the reality of their situation slowly overwhelms Shackleton.
Okay, sorry, bud.
Far ahead, Columbus reaches the horse riding transition point, where another surprise awaits them.
Petite got on a wild horse, which he didn't know at the time. Bucked her right off, and she landed on some rocks. Fortunately, she had 2 backpacks on, so it broke her fall a little bit, but I was really worried about her.
I just landed on some, I'm okay. Luckily the backpacks were there.
Jessie doesn't fare much better.
Whoa! Good boy, JT, well done.
I think we'll just walk it.
Shackleton has reached the Tyrolean and quickly makes their way across. Despite being mired in last place, they refuse to relent.
This here is, I mean, we just gotta push till the end, you know? I mean, the race isn't over until you cross the finish line.
Oh, we don't know if we've won yet. These horses might decide to take off on their own, and Andy's team is pretty close, and we have to go, oh man, another 2K for sure.
Darren suffers the sting of loss, while Petite and company stride confidently to the finish.
Welcome home, boys. We kind of thought that Andy was going to try to make a move.
Just before we crossed the finish line, we came in with the 2 horses, and Hansa and I were running, and we came through the fence, and we're a matter of yards from the finish line. Hansa's like, I think we've actually done it. Like, that was when he finally was convinced, because anything could happen. Until that moment, we kept looking behind us thinking, Magellan's coming.
They want me to finish with them, so I'm gonna finish. And, you know, I basically lost the race for us, so you know, I'm sure that means that I'm not going to Costa Rica.
Still trying to catch Columbus, Magellan races into the last transition.
He's got to get to the water right now.
It's hot out there.
I'm doing good. I was just overheating.
He's okay, but he needs to get in the water. He's on the edge.
Is this Darren's last stand?
Ow.
Who will be eliminated before they leave Africa?
My performance over here in the Kalahari has been really good.
Stay tuned for more Global Extreme. Global Extreme's Mount Everest, Forerunners of Adventure, presented by the all-new 4Runner. Larger, more powerful, more capable. And brought to you in part by Camelback. Get cool water anytime with Camelback hydration systems. Camelback, keep moving. And by Subway, fresh-made sandwiches on fresh-baked bread. Subway, eat fresh. And by Expedia.com. Don't just travel, travel right. Victory is secured as Columbus crosses the finish line in first place. Conquering the Kalahari after 120 miles, all 4 team members will continue on together to Costa Rica. Jesse Haynes is amazed at the feat his team has just accomplished.
Woohoo! I've never done anything like that in my life. I didn't even think I was going to be able to make it without sleep. But you know what? We raced the whole time.
Remember when we started on cultural loop there? Then we became underdogs after that performance. Mine, really, mainly.
It was not.
But we turned it into positive, and here we are, the champions. All right.
Oh, that one didn't go.
Incredibly, Magellan finishes only minutes later. All thoughts of past mistakes have been wiped from their minds. They, too, will advance to Costa Rica as a team.
Good job. Yeah, you did awesome.
Thanks, Jesse. I'm trying to make my way over.
Colleen, you are awesome. You're so strong.
Thank you.
I tell you,
Definitely.
there were some parts in there where I was suffering. Just from the heat. I mean, this afternoon, pushing that bike in the sand. If I don't see sand again, I'll be happy.
I can't imagine quitting. It would have just stunk to be like the last person across the finish line at 10 o'clock at night or something tonight. But I would have done that rather than quit.
2 hours after the others, Shackleton comes across the finish. It is a stunning development and a bitter pill to swallow. The most consistently strong team throughout the Kalahari expedition has shockingly finished last. The improbable has happened. The team members of Shackleton must now eliminate one of their own.
Yeah!
Hey, where's Sam?
Save some of it, woman. I want to drink some of it. Damn. So this made for drinking, not for wearing.
Nice comeback, buddy. Awesome.
They enjoy the precious few moments of celebration and savor their accomplishment, but the moment is fleeting, for this is the last time they will stand together as a team.
Yeah, I was actually kind of
A stronger one.
pushing things, yeah.
Great. That's it.
I wanted to go because I felt so bad about the night. I wanted to try to run some people down, but it wasn't in the cards.
Team Shackleton now must make the decision of who doesn't continue on Global Extremes.
If you tell me that you want me to not go to Costa Rica with you because I blew this adventure race, that's fine, I can accept that. If you think that I'm not the best person to be roped up on Everest with, then I think you're wrong.
If I put myself on Everest, I want to feel like I'm up there with people who care about the team of people that were up there. And I guess what you demonstrated to me today, this afternoon, was that I didn't feel like that was important to you.
Well, sorry. I care. Climbing mountains is different from adventure racing in the Kalahari.
What do I judge it from? I mean, I judge it from my experiences with you. I haven't climbed mountains with you. You didn't care about the unit as a team.
You know, the fact that you weren't strong yesterday or last night has absolutely no bearing on my decision as to whether or not I would want to climb Mount Everest with you. The thing that bothered me today is just, I guess you and I just don't look at the whole finishing the race together as a team. We just look at it differently.
I don't disagree with you guys. I mean, what do we have to base it on? One race.
You know, whoever you end up on Everest with, you know, I hope they know how to take care of you in high altitude conditions and hope they got good mountaineering skills. How fast they push their bike through sand, you know, may be different. I don't know, that's all I have to say. I'm done.
You know, it'd be nice to have a night to sleep on it. I'm not sure the outcome would change, but maybe how it was executed and how, you know, we get up tomorrow and talk to each other might be a little different. I don't know.
Has Shackleton made their final decision? When Global Extremes returns. The next morning, Eric approaches expert judge Kathy Sasson about his previous day's decision.
Kathy, the reason why I wanted to talk to you was last night when I actually had some time to sit down and think about it, I realized that I had made the wrong decision. I would really like us to be able to get together again as a group and rediscuss what our decision was before.
I'm happy to let you guys reconvene and talk about it again and see what happens this time.
Once again, Shackleton must make the decision of who doesn't continue.
I'd eliminate you.
Tune in next week and find out if Team Shackleton changes their decision, or if Darren remains out, as we revisit the entire Kalahari saga. In 2 weeks, an all-new episode, as we travel from arid Africa to the humid heat of Costa Rica's rainforest.
I think we might want to take a vote on Jesse's hairdo, because that could come into play when we really get down to things.
This snake is hemotoxic. The venom eats you from the inside out. I guess we're not going to be grabbing tree branches anymore today.
A little distressing.
I really think it's going to be either Colleen or I to go. She just kind of slammed into me, which slammed my arm into the cable.
Dense vegetation and unforeseen challenges lie in wait for our intrepid athletes as they begin the next phase of the elimination process.
Meet Tarzan.
My name's not Jane.
An all-new episode from the next leg of our around-the-world expedition in pursuit of Everest, only on OLN.